Hello, I'm your host, John Cavendish, and welcome to the Amazon Strategist Show, the show that's all strategy, no hacks, no silver bullets, and no magic pills, just real practical strategies for Amazon sellers. Today, my guest used to have his own e-commerce store before using his background in AI to develop tools for that store. He then started rolling these tools out. He got his friends involved. He then started taking paid clients and really scaled this into a company called AI Hello, which is an AI-based advertising automation platform. I can see he also on his site has learning algorithms to forecast sales and lots and lots of really cool, interesting tools, which I think we'll dive into later in this episode. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Ganesh. Krishnan. Sorry. Hey, Ganesh.
Hi. Hey, John. Thanks for inviting me to the show. My name is Ganesh. I'm the co-founder of AI Hello. There's a bit of a background of why I did it, and I think we spoke before the chat as well. I used to be, in a backpacker, and being a digital nomad, move around places, run one of the largest, Facebook groups for backpackers. And my previous, it is kind of a previous equation of life. I used to be kind of in machine learning and digital, machine learning, AI automation, data analytics. That's what I did at eBay. And while traveling, I gave up on a 9 to 5 job. It was a cushy job. I did a bit of a run around as a digital nomad with my savings. And then I decided, that in my free time, what I'll do is I'll launch an e-commerce store, and then I'll try to automate it, especially the digital marketing part. That would be, and I chose Amazon because Amazon has really good APIs. It's a really specific niche for e-commerce. And I started automating it. I made a good amount of money. I quickly reached the top 500 in my favorite niche, which I was in the top 500. I made a good amount of money, and then I had colleagues that asked me, can I use this for my own store? And then I started giving it out. I built an API. I built a kind of a hacky website, and then we started opening up more and more. And here we are. Roughly 3 years later, one of the fastest growing digital agency for Amazon. We are really in the top 10 for Amazon partners in terms of GMV that runs through our platform. We're really one of the fastest growing in terms of revenue, in terms of customer acquisition and everything. So a long way from where we started.
That's phenomenal. So do you see yourself as an agency more than a tool then? Do you because you have account managers, is it like an agency model rather than a SaaS model, or how do you see yourself as a business?
So there's I could talk about this for a lot of time, and it comes back to the point that there are 90% of the Amazon sellers, in the first year, they just churn, they go bankrupt, they die out. Partially the biggest reason is they have zero support from Amazon. They have zero support from any of their peers. They don't know what to do. They're completely lost. I know this is an Amazon strategy show, and we're going to talk a lot about strategy. But the missing chunk for most of the people is they don't have a strategy. They just want to go in, like a casino, dump some money, and then get out. That's not the way it works. So what we want to do is we want to sit in between an agency and a software where we offer something known as a Care Plus package. It's entirely software, but we tell you what to do. We give you the strategy. We give you the business plans. And then we check in every 30 days to make sure that you are following the strategy, and there's always someone to talk to. You don't have to wait for 30 days. You reach out to a specialist, we give you advice on how to do. So we're kind of filling in the missing, puzzle for Amazon sellers, which Amazon support doesn't provide. And we kind of give them. So if they have a problem with, their suppliers in China, we can reach out to a team and then we can sort it out. If they have a problem with, Amazon ads not being approved, we can look into it and see, how we can approve it. So we do a lot of this Care Plus package for all of the sellers. Primarily, our main focus is just on the software.
That's really cool. I like that model. So when you, I'm just really interested in this myself, to be honest, and I'm sure the listeners will be too. So when you bring in a new client, they go to your site. When I look at your site, I check out your pricing, and I see I see it more of a pricing of like a SaaS type model.
Yes.
So is this Care Plus included in it, or is this like an upsell or an extra level above what you have as standard?
It's included in all packages, but the amount of support we give you goes up as you get into more and more. Right. We try not to discriminate between the lower pricing and the higher pricing. If you are, priced lower, if you can only afford a basic, but we think, you have a high potential, you're doing the right things, then we invest more and more time into you, regardless, of how much money you pay us.
Nice. And how many team members do you have then to support that?
The team members, we have a huge varied team. So three of them are into AI. Then we have a huge tech team. Specialists, we have roughly around seven, I believe. Yeah, 7 to 8 probably.
Nice. No, that's really cool. And it's an amazing journey in the last 3 years to go from starting out to one of Amazon's top 10 partners. Is that through SPN, through the service provider network?
Through the Amazon Partner Network. So they have a partners dot Amazon has a new site they launched for the Amazon Partnership Network. Is focuses on a specific niche, but you can check out advertising. You can check out inventory management.
Nice. And then is that where you get most of your new clients from, or where do your clients come from?
A lot of the clients, they come from a word of mouth. A lot of them come from partner.amazon.com. We also have our own app on Amazon. They come to that. We also launch, occasionally promotional promotions. I think the biggest one is on AppSumo that we have right now. We get a significant chunk from AppSumo. And a lot of it is from our, small personal groups on LinkedIn, on Facebook.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, AppSumo is great, isn't it? Noah Kagan's part of a network I'm a member of, and like AppSumo's grown like absolute crazy, hasn't it? What an amazing, amazing thing.
For sure, yeah. Now they keep on adding new features, which is really good for us as well.
No, great, awesome. So you were a seller. You were making loads of cash. What made you want to get out of selling and get into the provider business, like service provider?
So sellers have, multiple challenges that is out of their bounds. They can't control. I think the biggest one that I've seen personally is the transport. From the manufacturer to Amazon. That is a big, challenge. The other big challenge is, your supplier. Are they honest enough? Are they, really good enough? Couple of times, suppliers that I've used for 2 or 3 years, in the end turned out to ship, fake products. So there's multiple challenges to it, and of course one of the biggest challenges is always digital marketing. And as a seller, you can't do it alone. Once you scale up beyond $1 million, you need to hire, you need to scale up, you need to do have a thorough knowledge of running an e-commerce store. That is something that I lacked, but I knew how to do the digital marketing side. I knew how to scale up a tech. I worked as as a team lead for IBM. I worked as a senior team lead for IBM. I know how to scale up a tech team from 0 all the way to 100. So I said, okay, why not I focus on what I can do best, which is, creating a SaaS platform, digital marketing, and then scale up the team. And then, we went from roughly me just doing all the tech part to roughly around 8 people in the whole tech team.
That's awesome. Is your tech team based? Yeah, so you said you're based in Toronto. Is it Canadian based,
Yep.
US based, India based?
We have tech team. The biggest tech team is in Vietnam. We have the tech team in Vietnam, and we have some in India. We have 1 or 2 in Canada as well. The Canadians are usually the junior. The senior is the front end is in Vietnam. The back end is in India.
Oh, that's really cool. I'm sure I should get your contact for them sometime if you're using a dev house here, because it's a great place to be. In Vietnam, there's so many amazing people.
That's true. Yeah, I'm very proud of my tech team that I built over the years. I think in some ways, one of the best advice that I heard when starting out a tech startup is always hire people who are smarter than you, and always surround yourself with people smarter than you. And I can say that honestly about my team that most of my team members are smarter than me.
Yeah, and I would agree that as well with my leadership team. So I mean, I guess that's like a really good takeaway already from strategic takeaways to hire smart people. In your experience, because it's pretty cool, you've got actually a whole team, say in Vietnam or somewhere else. Like, where are good places to be able to hire super smart outsourced team members? Where do you find these people?
Yeah. Okay. One more question that we can really go into the philosophical end of it. The answer is everywhere. What matters is the money. I know this is going to be a very contentious topic, but I think there are smart people across the world. You go anywhere, you find smart people. You go anywhere, you find hardworking people. But unfortunately, our current world is built in such a way that if you hire from certain people, you have to pay a lot of money. And if you go to certain countries, you pay cheap amount of money. What I learned that goes against the general belief is that throwing money is not going to get you, smarter people. Hiring smart will get you smart people. Um, we have to keep in mind that we really started with really a tight budget, a shoestring budget, and I managed to hire one of the best tech team. Uh, to hire, you have to deeply know about that process, about everything, and that's why I could not hire the e-commerce, because I'm not really, I've not really run an e-commerce business before, although I do tech for e-commerce. So you can hire from anywhere, but some of my favorite places have been Vietnam. I hired a lot from India. You have to go through maybe at least 60 interviews to find one good person. Now, a good person would be a good match, and there's a lot in Eastern Europe, in Serbia, in Ukraine, in Bulgaria, in those places. You can always hire good tech team as well.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, and I think that's amazing. Like, hire smart and smart people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I totally agree. We've had amazing hires in the developing world, amazing hires in the West as well. But yeah, the money does not mean better people pretty much ever. And depending on the role, I mean, unless you're hiring a sales role, then the best people aren't usually the people who are aggressively asking for the most money, because that's not how good deliverers are usually wired. Like, operations people aren't wired to be like super money driven. You just need to pay them well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, as long as they're happy with the money, and then it works out. So yeah, it's usually a good idea, I say, to hire someone who's smarter than you, who you are impressed with.
How do you know if someone's smarter than you?
What I usually do is, I don't know if there's a recommended approach, but I start off with a 1 month trial period, and I tell them, listen, I can't hire you full time. Let's start with a 1 month trial period. One, particular case that stood out is I hired a dev. I asked for his resume. His resume was absolute dog shit. It didn't even make any sense. It was like, eligibility manageable, stuff like that, which doesn't even make sense. And like list of random tech which didn't make sense. If I had to interview him, I would have outright rejected him based on his resume. But he was a referral to a friend, and I hired him, and he's really one of the top performer of our team. Hardworking, smart, knows much more than me in tech. And I've been in tech for 16 years. He's been in tech for 3 years, and he knows much more than me because he's up to date with the new technology. And I can't say how much impressed I've been with his work ethic. So first impressions are not really the right impressions. Give someone an opportunity to test out.
I like that. Yeah. And yeah, you're not hiring them to be a communicator, so it doesn't matter that his communication sucks.
Yeah. As long as we can communicate with tech, and tech is such a like a concrete subject that you can measure with numbers, and you can put it, you can specify it, you can put diagrams, and you can talk to your team.
No, I love that. That's really cool. I think we're going to take that out. That's a tip for anyone who's listening is, hire based on the role, hire smart people, judge them based on what they're actually going to output, not like us, isn't it? Because if we hire people like us, then you're just going to end up with a bunch of people who are like me, disorganized and run around in circles.
Yeah. That's not necessarily a bad thing too, I mean, like, I'm really disorganized as well. But we all have a strength and our weakness, So I think the other takeaway would be to hire people who complement your weakness, not your strength. So if you have a weakness in a specific part, recognize that weakness, and then hire someone to fill up that weakness.
I mean, I think hiring is such an important part, and I think on this show as well, we've been into hiring with several guests because hiring is the way to strategically grow your business over time.
Yes.
Once you grow up, it's all hiring. Because if we want to have freedom, we want to be able to sell it one day, or just have the freedom to not have to go crazy every morning when you wake up. I mean, hiring is everything, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. That's one thing that makes my life easier as well.
Awesome. So I guess this brings us on to automation.
Yeah.
I know we all love hiring because hiring makes life easier, but you're a big believer, I know, in not hiring, on automation over hiring.
Yeah.
So how do you approach automation, what you should be automating in your business as opposed to what you should be hiring for?
So the way we approach is we call it as a dual intelligence. There are some things that computers do really well. There are some things that humans do really well. And that boundary is getting blurred as time goes by. Right now we have computers that create artistic impressions, which is kind of amazing.
I did that today.
Yeah, you did. Okay, DALL-E, right?
I was playing with an app. I made Jesus riding a unicorn. I was like, see what it comes out with, and I was like, wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah. See, I mean, there you go. Like they're getting more and more, into kind of the artistic side. When it comes to business, you also need to have artistic side, and unfortunately, AI is not that good with the artistic side. We can, get more and more. That would be the business strategy. What you want to do, how you want to approach. That is the place that we also help, and the business also needs to have a direction on where they want to go. Uh, the other side is the AI automation. So when you think of, AI, let's give an example of what is the bid going to be. So the bid is always, the target cost multiplied by conversion rate, multiplied by the average order value. So here the conversion rate for each keyword changes depending on the time of the day. So if you have, 10,000 keywords or if you have 20,000 keywords, then you need to change the bid according to the conversion rate, according to the time of the day. And it's, it doesn't sound realistic. It doesn't sound possible for a human to, to go ahead and change it. You can put algorithms, but algorithms don't consider, the future performance. They look at the past and they make the change. Algorithms also have a death spiral, where if the keyword performs slightly lower for a week, for whatever reason, then it keeps on decreasing it. You have to look into the future to get the right, bid. So the AI's job is to make sure the bid is right. AI's job is to make sure that it creates the right campaigns. AI's job is to make sure that the conversion rate is high. Those are the, the boring jobs that humans should never do. The AI does it. What the strategies does is they create the fancy graphics for it. Hopefully we can replace this with AI too in the future, right? Fancy graphics, fancy headline titles. They decide on what kind of campaigns to create. They decide on, what is the budget to use. So those kind of, macro decisions in a business. So combining both of it is what gives the really bang for the buck.
Nice. And so what is actually the difference between like AI and machine learning and algorithms? And how do you create AI? So I mean, like, I'm a total noob when it comes to AI and tech. What is an AI? Like, how does it? Because it's not actually intelligent. So yeah, what is it?
Right. So the way I define and the way the general definition is, machine learning is a subset of AI.
Okay.
So you create something known as a linear regression, where there's numbers that are progressing, straightforward, and then we can extrapolate on from that. So machine learning has been for a long time. Even AI has been for a long time. So machine learning is specific algorithms. You could have support vector machine, or you could have linear regression. You could do stuff like that. Basic, we use something known as the ARIMA that can predict the seasonality and it can predict the future sales. That's the part. Algorithms, when I say algorithms, I mean the people using algorithms for advertising. So what they do is, if conversion ratio is greater than 20 and if CPC is less than 0.3, then reduce by 0.3. That is something I highly recommend not to do it. And AI is a all-encompassing over machine learning that we use, in general. Kind of a, I think that the inside joke is, if it's on a PowerPoint, it's AI. If it's programmed, it's machine learning. That's what we use as an inside joke. So regardless of that, like AI, what I usually refer to is, it runs a deep learning where we don't know why a system works in a particular way. There is no explanation for it. So it's a kind of a black box. We give it the numbers, it spits out the number. We don't know why it gave out the number, why it spit out that number.
You don't know why? I mean, you can't follow its logic?
No, you can't. You asked it to create, a baby Jesus on a unicorn, and then it created that. Why do you think it created it? You can't follow that logic, right?
I know. I mean, I would have. If it's not followable, then how does it work?
It works just like a human neuron. So there are lots of neurons, millions of neurons inside it. They all have a different weight, and then it spits out. So, for example, it recognizes people, right? There is AI. We had it for a couple of years. It recognizes people. How does it recognize people? If you put up a photo on Google Photos, it knows it's you. So, what is the logic behind it, right? So those things are all black boxes. It's quite impossible to know why it's acting in that particular way.
Wow, that's mind-bending. So yeah, I have no idea.
It follows, it's called artificial intelligence because it's the same as a neural network. It's called a neural network because humans' neurons also work in the same way. So there are millions of neurons that are connected to each other, and as the numbers pass, once it hits a threshold, the number passes on to the next neuron. So we don't know what is the threshold. It automatically creates the weight on the threshold for it to spit out a number.
Cool. And then I guess with AI, I understand AI needs training.
Yes.
Because basically, eventually, it's only as good as the data you feed it. So
yes.
where are you getting the data that you feed to AI Hello? Is it is it everyone's data gets kind of pulled together, or how does that work?
It's a kind of a combined data, and Amazon also provides a lot of data because we use Amazon API. You're right, it's a lot of it is data. So a lot of it is keywords, like we feed in the keyword, we know what is the past like, and then we can predict the seasonality based on the future. A lot of it is predicting, what is going to be the text for a particular product given the category. So those kind of features, it's mostly all about natural language processing.
Natural language processing, like Google's GPT-3 thing.
Kind of. GPT-3 is more for generating text. Yeah. So GPT-3 is more for generating text, and what we do is we kind of analyze the keyword. So it's really, really simple algorithms like term frequency or inverse document frequency to find out what is the right keyword. Sometimes we also predict what is the most similar keyword, right, to a particular keyword. This is how Google search works too. So when you type in a keyword, it finds what are the documents that are closest to it, and we use the same mechanism to predict. If you enter a keyword, we don't have the history for it, we don't have the potential for it, we find what is the closest keyword to it, and then we make a rough prediction based on that.
Nice. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Cool. So we'll go into later exactly how people can test it and use it and see how it works for them. But I guess I also, when I was reviewing your site, I saw you've got lots of little calculators, like lots of little tools. How did that come about, and which ones are your most popular, and what would you recommend from there?
Those are all micro tools. I put it on the website. A lot of the sellers, ask us simple questions like, how do I get the link for it? How do I calculate the AOV for it? How do I know what is the pricing? So what we decided was, rather than being our customer and we giving access to the tool, we'll just open the tool for everyone, and we opened up the tool. Those are really like a quick one word answer to all of your questions, like what should be my price be, or what is the FBA price approximately to be.
Oh, I like it. It's cool. It's very nice, simple website.
Gotcha. Okay. Perfect. Okay.
So I guess if somebody was going to try AI, they've been doing their own ads management for a while. They're scaling up. What package would you recommend for your service, and how long does it take for your service to make an impact? How long do they be using it for until they see the results of what they're aiming for?
Right. It depends. The results varies, but it goes anywhere from 5 days to maybe around 30 days before they see the impact. There are some sellers that have seen an impact in 2 days if it's already really well maintained, is really well structured. Again, the answer to this depends on how well structured your campaign is. We have some sellers that did keyword dumping. They have 1,000 keywords in one campaign. The AI is going to make it worse because it's going to test each one of this keyword and then make sure it works. Your sales is going to your sales is going to go up, but your ad spend is going to go up considerably as well, as long as the structure is right. And this is what our care package will handle as well. We go look at your campaigns and we tell you there's way too many keywords in this campaign, you need to tone it down or create a new campaign with the best keyword. And we do support creating campaigns within our platform with 2 clicks. You enter your SAM, and then you enter your budget and you click next. We automatically choose the best keyword. We automatically choose the best bid for it, best many keyword, and then we set up the right structure. We link the campaigns. We do everything with just two clicks.
Nice. And how do your sellers kind of break down compared to how big are they on average, the sellers that use your platform, and do you also have like agencies and aggregators that use it as well?
So we have agencies that use us. We have one aggregator that is talking to us from Latin America. But we do have, plenty of agencies that use us for the automation. A lot of them, tell their clients outright. A lot of them don't want to tell their clients outright. It really doesn't matter, right? I mean, to the client, as long as they're getting the money, as long as the business is going up. I would say, that the happiest people on our platform are the agencies.
Right? Nice. That's really. And why would you say they're the happiest?
I think if I have to, hypothesize, it's probably because they understand how hard is running Amazon. They have previous experience in running Amazon ads, and they can see how much it has helped them automate a large chunk of what they do for their clients.
Cool. So I'm just making a note. That's very cool. So anything else you want to share about your platform and how it functions and how people can use it?
So we are adding, eye candy reports, that gives us an overview of functionalities that are missing in Amazon. One would be the product view. If you look at a product, you need to know how much campaigns you are running, what kind of campaigns you are running. That's one missing. The biggest chunk is what I call as a roadmap. If you start, let's assume, think of one brand that you managed in your life, right? You log into Amazon. How do you know what products are, eligible for advertising and what products are they running? You just have a wall of campaigns. You don't know what products are running. You can't see a roadmap. That roadmap is something that we're building, and I think the biggest factor for us is we're also getting into DSP. DSP is going to be our killer feature because our AI is really, really fine-tuned for DSP. We can hyper target a product to a specific city, to a specific locality at a specific time. This is something that even Amazon doesn't do. We plan to get more and more into Amazon DSP to help us do it.
That's really cool. Yeah, because DSP is one of the hardest things to be profitable on as well, isn't it? So if you can make DSP profitable easily, then you should take a percentage of that.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, that's our goal. Make DSP profitable.
That's awesome. Yeah, really cool. I really think that's an amazing feature when you've rolled it out.
Yep.
Cool. Perfect. So let's roll into the game show section of the show, if you want.
Okay. Yep. Let's do it.
So at the Amazon Strategist Show, we always want to give back to our listeners and viewers. So if you're watching this video, below there will be a link to enter our ongoing giveaway and competition. So every week we run this competition. 1 second, it is here. My beautiful assistant is not here. So you can go to events.sellercandy.com/AMZ strategy to register. The link will be pasted below here as well, and entered for our spin the wheel. Then every week on our pre-recorded shows and our live shows, we spin the wheel and then we announce winners on every live show every Thursday at 6 p.m. EST. So what that means is that all of our guests put forward some prizes. Ganesh has very kindly put forward 3 different prizes. 1, 6 months of free AI Hello, which is an amazing prize. I hope someone wins that soon. 2, 20% off 1 year of AI Hello.com account, and 3, $500 worth of credits. It's also really cool because the cheapest package, I believe, is $175 a month. That's like another 2.5 months to get it going and try it, which is really cool. On top of that, we still have many other things. We have Amps. They might be a competitor of yours. They do Google ads though, mostly, not so much Amazon ads. We have $500 worth of bookkeeping credit from Econ Balance. We have 2 months of free bookkeeping. We have 1 month referrers on subscription. We have a ping pong 30-minute call. We have 15-minute optimization call with Anatoly, and we have a free consultation with Z, still on the wheel. So please enter with your chance to win all of those amazing things. So now let's bring up the wheel. Where is the wheel? See, smooth as anything. Not quite as cool as it would be if Viv was running it, but pretty smooth. All right, so you can see all the prizes on there. You see AI Hello over here. And all right, Ganesh, you are in control.
Yep.
Not physically, but you have to say, spin that wheel, and we spin the wheel.
All right, let's spin the wheel. Do I have to say stop as well?
Nah, it's all that. Anatoly. All right, awesome. It says 5 minutes, but it's actually 15-minute call. 15-minute call with Anatoly to talk about your Amazon product. So Anatoly is a really cool guy. I would talk about Amazon products, and I'm sure he'll speak for longer. You should ask him about what he's doing in Bali at the moment, because I've been reading some of his podcasts and his blog posts recently, and he's doing some crazy stuff, interviewing some very interesting people in Bali on the crazy side, that sounds weird, on the esoteric, out there spectrum of people that you meet. As Ganesh, you've been a backpacker in Bali, those type of people, which I think is really interesting.
Bali is pretty popular with backpackers as well.
Oh, Bali's great, isn't it? Chengu, I love it. It's like a bit of Australia in rice paddies. Like all the good food, and just in rice paddies.
For sure.
Love it. All right, should we do it again?
Yeah, spin it.
Right. Nice. And the second winner is the free consultation with Z. So Z can support you in international expansion. Actually, someone that we've worked with in the past. They provide a good service and they sponsor everything. So you should get in contact with those guys, and they will basically run you through whether your product is a good opportunity for international expansion, and if so, hook you up with some deals. If not, then you shouldn't expand anyway. So they should give you real data on that. They're not just going to sell you on stuff which you can't use, which is always good. All right. And one more. Should we do one more?
All right, we are ready to do it now. Yep.
Let's go. Let's see who wins. Anatoly, luckiest man alive. That's all of his things now gone off the wheel. So he is an automation ninja stroke obsessive compulsive programmer. So he will jump on a 15-minute call with you to help you automate some parts of your life through, he's a all sorts of black belt in, what do you call it, one of those organization type things. So he'll help you automate some parts of your life. So Ganesh, thank you for support with the game. And there is a question that we always ask everyone who comes on the Amazon Strategist Show, which is, what is one strategic element that you think most people are missing while selling on Amazon, or who are running an Amazon business?
A roadmap. So what they need is before they start, it's like before you start a journey, you need a GPS. Before you start your Amazon journey, you need to know what products you're selling, what campaigns are running, where you want to be, what your sales want to be. You can't just say my sales have gone up, have gone down. You just have to say, I'm lower than my target by 10%, I'm higher than my target by 10%. So you need to have a specific target in mind. So roadmap, which strangely Amazon doesn't offer. And we're trying to kind of fill in that gap to let sellers see where the roadmap is.
That's a good one. So roadmap, make sure you have one. Now we're going to go to the final section, the rapid fire question section.
Wow. Okay.
Which Ganesh was saying, does he need to worry? Does he need to prepare? You can't prepare. Most difficult questions you've ever answered in your life.
All right. I'm ready.
All right. So they are 9 questions. Are you ready?
Yes. I was born ready.
All right. Question number 1. What is your favorite Amazon niche?
I would be, partial and say my niche that I sell, which would be the beauty and organic section.
Beauty and
yeah.
If you could have no pictures or no reviews, which would you?
Wow, no reviews.
Name a country that starts with the letter G.
Georgia.
Which Amazon marketplace is the next big opportunity?
Good point. I would say either Singapore or Japan. Japan is really hard to get into it. But I would think, Singapore is also close to, Asian market. So, it's a toss up between either of it. If I had to choose, I would go for Singapore.
Pineapple on pizza. Yes or no?
Oh my God, please, no. It should be illegal.
Name something appealing about working from home in your basement.
Appealing. Honestly, when I started off, I found everything appealing. I could spend more time with the family. But as time goes by, it gets, I find the concept of working from a office, more appealing. There's more people to talk to. You can bounce ideas. It's a very, a lonely thing working from home. Yeah, all the appeal is gone, unfortunately.
Oh, well, it's not finished there. Google Ads or Facebook Ads?
Google Ads, for sure. I mean, if you ask Google Ads or Amazon Ads, I would say Google Ads.
Name something that you'd hate to find swimming around in your bathtub.
My God, a snake? Snake. Yeah, that would be my phobia.
Amazon or Walmart?
Amazon, sure. Walmart is a dumpster fire.
Okay. So Walmart isn't watching this podcast. Yeah, thank you, Ganesh. Awesome answers.
All right. Thank you, John.
How can people contact you? As well as going out, as well as check out your website.
So my website is ahello.com. You can do a live chat. You can send me an email on ganesh@ahello.com. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn. You can reach out to the support on Ahello and say, support on ahello.com, and then say, I want to speak to Ganesh. They connect me directly.
Nice. So just reach out and say, hook me up with Ganesh.
Yes.
And hopefully send you to this Ganesh.
Yeah.
Not the many-armed god.
As a startup founder, I feel like many aren't because there's so many tasks you have to keep on doing and juggling. So,
That'll be really
I'm the
useful.
many aren't, but yeah.
Especially with AI. AI is like an extra 5 arms.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
So thank you so much for being on the show, Ganesh, and for joining us. We hope that anyone who's listening to tonight's episode was very useful. And as always, thank you for listening to the Amazon Strategist Show. If you haven't subscribed and you're watching this wherever you're watching or listening to this, please do subscribe on Apple, Spotify, Google, wherever you're watching or listening, and come back for next week for another discussion. Until then, I am your host, John Cavendish, and thank you. And this was Ganesh, and thank you for being on the Amazon Strategist Show and listening.
You're welcome, John.